Hey everyone, how's it going? So, the Audi that I did the thermostat on, I'm going to change the oil on it too. I just had it running it so it's really hot because I had to burp the system out. The customer wanted to change the oil. So I wanted to show you something. On this design engine, whenever you have one of these, this is what I normally try to do when I change oil on a system or a setup like this, where the filter goes straight down. See that? And the filter is pointing straight down. Usually I don't like to loosen them. These are not known to do this, but sometimes when you crack them free, oil will run down the motor engine. So what I'm going to do is I take a punch and a hammer and I basically pop a hole at the top of it. This way it siphons out when I drain the oil from underneath. So let me get you set up on a tripod and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now it's pretty simple. You don't have to go bananas. Just a simple whack like that. And all that did was that popped a little hole in the top. Now what that does is that allows the oil that's in the filter to drain down inside, back into the engine. Like I said, these are not known to do that, like they usually will drain back on their own, which I don't like. However, I have seen it where they don't drain back, and of course you go to take the filter off and it spills all over the place. So that's what I normally do in a situation like that. So now I'm going to put it up in the air. We're going to drain the oil. As you see, I already took the cap off, but we're going to drain the oil. We're just going to do a basic oil change on this, set tire pressure, stuff like that. So there you see the cap is off. And as you can see, the coolant level is just below max, but I still think there might be a slight air pocket in this thing. I got to test drive it anyway, but I have good heat coming out of it. But I still think I might have a small air pocket. But so I usually will take them for a good test drive, park them, let them sit, and then double check the coolant level after it cools off a bit. So let me put this up in the air and then we're going to continue. All right, so I'm getting you set up on a tripod and I just want to show you this. I already took the undershield off when I did the thermostat. So the undershield isn't there. There's the drain plug. Maybe looking and wondering, what the heck is that? Well, there's your drain, your petcock. And this is something that I made up a long time ago and I keep it in my toolbox. And basically I could put it on there on the point where it drains out, and I can direct it into a bucket this way. So that's my reason for doing that. Just put that down there. Let me get you set up where you can actually watch this. Got my Earl drain handy. That should be a 17. And it is. I don't know what you can actually see or not. All right. So now we're just going to let that drain out. I can lower this down a little bit. This way you can get the exciting view of it draining oil. Just like that. I mean, this is real cinema right here, if you ask me. Oops. I mean, where can you get more exciting video than this? So I'm going to let it drain out for a while. I'm not going to bother letting you watch all of that, but let me go get a tire pressure gauge and then let's just double check our tire pressures. All right, so here I have my air instiller. And the tires are, this tires are 24 PSI. Now, I fill tires up to 36, usually, on most vehicles. People ask me why I do that if it calls for 32. It's just something I've always done. Plus, right now, with the weather changes, the temperature changes, it'll tend to keep the tire more stable at that pressure. Plus, you have less of a tendency to get that kind of wear out of a tire because that's from running it low on pressure. See, like the whole center of the tire is still halfway decent, but the sides are shot. So I'm going to just set the rest of the tire pressures, and then we're going to put the drain plug back in this thing, and then we're going to put oil in it, or change the filter, then put oil in it. All right, what I'm going to do is move you to this side. And as you see, the oil slowed down to a drip. And it's been several minutes. Actually, it's probably been about 12 minutes. And right there is where it gets tight. Just go a little more. Don't go bananas. No need to. All right. So now I told you I already took that underside shield off from before. Bunch of broken, or I'm sorry, not broken, missing retaining clips. I don't have any extras, not for these things. So we're just going to put back what came off. And the retaining clips in the back are just like quarter turn, like Zeus fasteners, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I thought they used to be. And they're probably all stripped out. There it goes. That one caught. That one caught. And that one caught. People usually put guns on these things and blast them down. I don't know why. But that's what a lot of people do. I mean, you can put a gun on it, that's fine. But just, be mindful of what you're doing. It's not like torquing a head bolt. Where do I put my... There's a couple of... There's Phillips. These are Phillips in the back. They're Phillips in the front. And then on the corners, there was like Torx head. Not Torx head. They're like... yeah, they have a Torx drive to them. There again, you don't got to go bananas. Yeah, like everything on this thing is stripped out. So it's like I can only go so far anyway. Okay, that's going to have to be good enough. All right, so that's all set. All the tires, every single one was at about 28 to 30 PSI. I just realized too, this thing needs front axles, but I think we recommended that before. The boots are torn. Oops. Yeah. So, all right, let me let this thing down. Now, I have had a few of you ask me in the past, what filters do we use here? We have Mighty filters in stock. Now, Mighty filters are actually made by Champion. And Champion, well, they are a Champion filter. They just have Mighty's name on it. I could see marks on this where somebody put a cup on it. I don't know who did the last oil change. I don't think it was us. But anyway, we have Mighty filters in stock. For some reason, we didn't have one of these in stock, but otherwise we use Napa. And as you can see, this is a kind of a bizarre filter. It has its own threaded portion on it, and it's a pretty heavy unit too. All right, so there, that one's out. As you can see, I actually dribbled a touch on the car. I don't know if you can see that. What did I do with my rag? I had a rag. What did I do with it? I literally just had it. What did I do with it? Gotta be here somewhere. So I dribbled a little bit underneath the hood of the car. If you dribble any underneath the hood of the car, that's okay. Just clean it up. Because otherwise it attracts dirt and grease and everything else. So, here's the new filter. Let me pause you for a minute so you don't have to listen to that. Alright, he stopped for now. If you noticed, I didn't put oil on the seal. If you notice, I didn't even wipe off the bottom. I took a visual of it, you know, where the seal goes, and it was clean. So, tighten by hand. You don't have to put a cup on it or anything like that. So now, I usually try to wipe off any fingerprints I might get on there as much as possible. Just try to make it look neat. All right, so let me go get some oil for this thing, and then let's add oil to it. One thing I wanted to show you is the specs on this thing for oil capacity and oil type. Okay, ready for this? Oil capacity, 4.9. Oil type, 030, 045, 35, 40. So, yeah, there's a big choice there. Okay, so it really depends on where you live. If you live in very hot climates, they tell you you could use you could use the 540. If you live in a very cold climate, use 030. Using 530 is going to be fine. It's not going to change your world. It's not going to do anything. You know, it's just funny because I've actually seen some Mercedes which will have 020, 30, 40, 520, 30, 40, and you know, all the way up to 1540. I mean, it's amazing. Like, it'll be a whole list of it. You know, so it's not super crucial like some people think. You know, if your car is high performance or something like that, it's really supposed to have, you know, 016 or whatever, you know, a full synthetic Mobil 1 or whatever like that. Something that they're very specific about. Like if you got, like, you know, I don't know, Ferrari or Lamborghini, a Dodge Viper, something like that, where they're very specific about the oil. Yeah, stick with that oil. But if you got an Audi, you know, come on, it's not that crucial unless you have an Audi R8 or something like that. You know, this is, you know, a run-of-the-mill Audi passenger vehicle. So, yeah, if it was my vehicle, which it would never be because I would never own an Audi, then yeah, I would use that. I mean, if somebody gave me one, would I drive it for, you know, a couple minutes? Sure, but I'd get rid of it. I wouldn't keep it. Audis, Porsches, BMWs, Range Rovers, Land Rovers, whatever, Mercedes, I don't know if I mentioned that. You know, all of those German cars, just so you're aware, there's what's known as the German car tax. Basically, everything's more expensive. There's no such thing as an inexpensive repair on a German vehicle, here in the United States, that is. Over in Europe, it might be a different story where they're more used to seeing them. Over here, not so much. Plus, the depreciation on them, I would never buy a new one. The depreciation's insane on these things. So, yeah, I would never own one. Leasing them is a different story. Lease it, sure. If you don't mind throwing away $500, $600, $700, $800, $900 a month on a lease payment, sure. You know, because that way you don't have to worry about repairing it. You know, once lease is over, just get rid of it. You know, you don't have to worry about it. But I would never own one because they will nickel and dime you to death. So, all right, let me go get some oil for this. Like I said, I'm gonna use 530. But yeah, let me get oil. Let me pour it in, and like I said, it holds 4.9, 5 quarts, and let's get this thing filled up, and then let's take it for a road test. It actually purged a little bit of air out, I think. Looks like the coolant level's going down a little bit. So, but I still got to take it for a road test and make sure that all the air is out of the system. All right, let's get oil in this. All right, so now we also keep oil in bulk too. And there again, it is from Mighty also. This thing has a thingy inside here, like a baffle. It is actually falling down. Interesting. Okay. I don't know if I want to do that. We're going to wind up pushing it through. So anyway, like I said, we keep oil in bulk also. And the oil we have is from Mighty, but it's approved oils. You know, it's not just some cheap oil. This way we keep, you know, our suppliers, this way we don't have a million different suppliers. It just makes our life that much easier. We keep boxes of oil in stock. Like I don't know how many gallons they are, 5 gallons maybe. We keep that in stock. It's just easier. But what I wanted to show you real quick was what I was talking about. This, see the baffle in there? Like this edge is supposed to be up over top of that, so I want to see if I can't make it do that. See if I can't make that actually happen. Let me see if I can't grab it with needle nose. Yeah. Okay. And I got it in place. So now it's actually sitting where it's supposed to. Like that little nubby thing is sitting right there. So, all right, let me just put this cover back on. Here? Yes, there is. There's a notch in here for it to fit the right way. Why? I don't know. Okay, and this is this a dipstick? I know most of these are dipstickless. Yeah, it's dipstickless. So I don't even know why they give you that tube there. All right. So we are all done here. I'm going to leave that coolant. Well, actually, yeah, let me add a little bit of water to that because I did put straight coolant in it before. I'm going to add a little bit of water. All right, let me go wash up, and then we're going to take this for a road test. So I just cleared the codes because I had the code for the thermostat rationality. I just cleared the codes, but I wanted to show you something. I have to have this cable hooked up because the dongle too large for the opening where where the port is for the OBD2 connector. So I use that cable there, and that cable, my brother Glenn sent that to me. So he sent that to me like 2 years ago, and I still use it. I use it quite often. Comes in really handy with stuff like this. It also comes in handy when you have a corded scanner and you have to like work underneath the hood or something like that, and you may not have a long enough cable. It's excellent for a situation like that. So I'll put a link in the description for that. It comes in super handy. And like I said, especially when you have a dongle like this that's too big for the opening. So it works out really good. So thank you, Glenn. All right, so let's go take this thing for a road test and make sure we have heat, because right now I have like limited heat. So I'm sure it's got an air pocket in it. So I'm gonna take it for a ride, just make sure it burps out, make sure I don't have an overheating situation, anything like that. As you can see, I don't right now. Don't anticipate having an overheating condition, but I'm pretty confident it has an air pocket. So I'm gonna take it for a nice little road test. When I get back, then I'm gonna let it sit, and then I'll recheck it once it cools off. One thing that I don't like about these vehicles without the dipstick, oil level, okay? Currently no information available about the oil level. So how do you know if you got to add oil? That is the dumbest thing on earth. I'm sorry. I can't stand that. I just think that is absolutely idiotic. So, all right. I hate sunroofs, just so you know. And the shade doesn't work on this. So let me take this thing for a road test, and then we're going to end this video. One quick thing I wanted to show you here, and because this thing has one of those manual modes. It's an automatic, but it has one of those manual modes. So now it's in first. See, it says M1, but I am not going to touch the shifter. I'm holding the steering wheel with my left hand, and I got the phone in my right hand, but I'm not going to touch the shifter. But watch what it'll do, because I've heard people are afraid to blow their engines, and I have not touched the shifter. But now it never reached the point of wanting to shift for the next gear. Now the reason I was also doing that is because I wanted the engine RPMs up high while I was driving it, basically to help push out any possible air that's in the system. Sorry about the sun glare, I hate sunroofs. But there, I put it back in automatic mode. So yeah, I've heard people say, you know, oh, I'm afraid of blowing the engine. What if I forget? No, the computer's going to take over, it's going to shift. It just gives you the perception that, hey, you're controlling it. You're really not. You can control when you want to downshift and when you want to upshift, but if the computer starts to see you getting to that point of, hey, we don't want to over rev this thing, it's not going to let you, it's going to upshift automatically. And if you try to downshift when it doesn't want to, it's not going to downshift. It just won't do it. It's not like a stick shift car. So it's not real. That's basically what I wanted to say. This thing's got killer heat, I will say that. So, all right, almost back at the shop now. So let's get back there and let's wrap this up. See, now too, I just got back from a road test. I have the thing off, and it's still no information about oil. I mean, how insane is that? To me, it's ridiculous, honestly. So anyway, it has good heat in that. I'm just going to let it sit. Actually, let's just see where the coolant level is right now, just out of curiosity. Whoops, hello. See where we are. See where we're located. Yeah, the level's just a little bit above max. It'll burp a little bit as it sits, but I'm good with that. Everything's good. All right, well, hopefully you got something out of that video. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching. If you look down in the description, kind of a bug. If you look down in the description, you'll see links to Amazon products that I personally use and recommend. If you could give it a click, I really appreciate it. If you buy something even better, I do get a small percentage. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great day. Keep wrenching.